Good evening. You're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. Malaysia's embassy in Vienna is positioning itself to expand diplomatic trade ties and drive green technology transfers into Sarawak, following high-level discussions with the Premier earlier today. Newly appointed ambassador to the Republic of Austria, Dato' Fanny Nuli, confirms that both Austria and Slovakia hold critical expertise that aligns with the region's economic master plan. Fanny Nuli says the embassy stands ready to champion and facilitate investment initiatives chosen by the Sarawak government in European nations.
Ini state that require our embassy di Vienna untuk membantu dari segi mempromosikan apa-apa collaboration, apa-apa kerjasama dengan kedua-dua negara ini. As you know, Austria dia sangat bagus dari segi green hydrogen, water management, and other like all the technology, advanced technology, and also Slovakia, a small country that be very good at automotive technology. So this thing, I think Malaysia boleh bekerjasama dengan kedua-dua negara tersebut.
Speaking to reporters after a farewell courtesy call on the Premier, Fanny highlighted that Austria has advanced expertise in green hydrogen and water management, which directly correlates with Sarawak's current renewable energy projects. Fanny also pointed to Slovakia's recognized automotive sector as a target design for strategic technology exchange and capacity building for Sarawakian workers.
TV shows such as Gerahas 2.0 are highlighting the realities of public service and the sacrifices made by law enforcement personnel to safeguard the safety and well-being of the people. VIENNA's chairman, Dr. Hans Isaac, says such productions not only entertain audiences, but also reflect real-life issues through meaningful stories that resonate with the public. Hans, who also stars in the series, says productions inspired by real-life experiences help strengthen the local creative industry by delivering relevant, high-quality content that leaves a lasting impact on audiences.
30 tahun, kenapa Gerahas masih ada? Sebab rating yang bagus, sebab rakyat suka dan rakyat menonton. Of course, broadcaster nak. So, tahniah kepada TVS kerana menyokong Gerahas 2.0.
Meanwhile, veteran actress Era Fazira says that although the series has been a staple of the local drama industry for years, this latest version with a fresh approach successfully retains its appeal and remains relevant to audiences.
Tetapi saya ada melihat kematangan tim kita dalam ekspreskan setiap sesuatu kes tu, dan kita lebih sekarang ni lebih all out lagi lah. Kalau katakan action ke, it's not just only kadang-kadang kita di bandar ke. Kali ini kalau kita explore ke Sarawak, kita ada aksi-aksi yang lebih orang kata mencabar lagi.
For the first time since the drama franchise debut in the late 90s, Sarawak not only served as a filming location, but also plays a key role in the storyline, reflecting the aspiration to showcase more inclusive stories. Gerahas 2.0 premieres on July 3rd, airing every Friday at 8:30 p.m. exclusively on TVS 122 and TVS Inspire.
Frun, a village in southern Lebanon, has unexpectedly become a test case for the new Lebanon-Israel-US Framework Agreement. Under the deal, Israeli forces are to withdraw from designated pilot zones to be replaced by the Lebanese army. But the mayor says Frun has never been occupied by Israel and the army already operates freely there, raising questions among residents about why the village was included. RT correspondent Steve Sweeney reports from Frun, South Lebanon.
So it's just days after the United States, Israel and Lebanon signed a trilateral framework agreement. We're here in the village of Froun. This was named as one of the so-called pilot areas in which Israeli soldiers would withdraw to be replaced by the Lebanese armed forces. They're set to dismantle Hezbollah infrastructure. But you can see around us, this village is full of life. There are people that have returned here. And again, you can see the scale of the destruction here. This was heavily bombed during the Israeli escalation on March the 2nd. Much of this damage is new. You can see just behind me, this is the local village mosque. Now, we've spoken to a number of people here in the village. We've spoken to the mayor, and they have confirmed that the Israeli forces have never been inside this village. So this isn't a village that has been occupied by Israeli forces. The closest they got was apparently 5 kilometers away from here. Now, just to give you some idea of the geography of the area, Froun itself sits on the bank of the Litani River. It's just south of the Litani River, but it's some 30 kilometers away from the blue line. So it's far outside the Israeli security zone, and many people here are left wondering why it was included in one of those pilot zones.
When Netanyahu declared that Froun and Zoutar al-Gharbia were experimental zones, we as a municipality and as residents were surprised and outraged. Froun is located outside the yellow line, and we know that an experimental zone must be occupied territory. Froun is not occupied, and Israelis have not set foot there. They were only 5 kilometers away.
The mayor says the controversy over Froun being designated an experimental zone has put the village in the spotlight. But despite that attention, he says no representative of the Lebanese state has contacted the municipality.
All media outlets have reported on Froun except for the Lebanese government, and to this day no official at any level, whether district governor, provincial governor, minister of the interior or any other state official, has contacted us. They have not contacted us as the official representatives of the town.
His criticism goes beyond the lack of official support. Like many here in southern Lebanon, he questions the framework agreement reached with Israel and says locals feel abandoned by Beirut.
We believe the state has abdicated its responsibilities by going to the U.S. and negotiating with the Israeli enemy. Secondly, what about the agreement they signed? Is it conceivable that Israel sold Lebanon illusions? Is it conceivable that Froun, which lies outside the yellow line and is not an occupied town, is considered by Israel to be an experimental zone, and there is no response from the Lebanese state?
For many in the south, this is about more than politics. Despite the destruction and repeated displacement, they insist they will not be driven from their land.
We are against what the government has done. We want to live in peace, security, and stability. The people of the South have the right to live in safety like everyone else. The Lebanese state must address the destruction, return people to their villages, and provide ready-made homes to help us settle down. We must be united, and Israel must leave. We want to live in peace, but not at the expense of our dignity.
Well, support for normalization with Israel is confined to a minority inside Lebanon. Research and polling suggests that just 38% of Christians favor such a move, and for Muslims, it's unsurprisingly lower, at just 5%. When you broaden this out to Lebanon as a whole, almost 90% oppose the normalization of relations with Israel. So this includes those sections of society that don't support Hezbollah. Now, the same can be said about the current framework agreement. Opposition comes not just from Hezbollah, but bridges the political and sectarian divide. The anger that is being expressed at the moment could boil over into something much larger and create something of a crisis for President Joseph Aoun and Prime Minister Nawaf Salam. This is Steve Sweeney for RT in southern Lebanon.
Rescue teams in Venezuela continued searching for survivors 1 week after powerful earthquakes killed nearly 2,000 people and left thousands unaccounted for. Despite passing the critical 72-hour window, rescuers are still finding survivors, including a 3-year-old boy pulled from the rubble in Caracas 6 days after the country's strongest earthquake in more than a century.
According to local reports, survivors are struggling with shortages of food and shelter, with humanitarian agencies warning conditions remain critical in the hard-hit port city of La Guaira. The magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 earthquakes struck on June 24th, triggered one of Latin America's worst earthquake disasters. Authorities state death toll has risen to 1,943, with more than 10,500 injured. Nearly 6,500 people have been rescued from the rubble, while the total number of survivors is estimated around 20,000, including those who escaped or were assisted by relatives. The disaster has fueled criticism of the government's response as Venezuela grapples with long-standing economic challenges. At the same time, the International Organization for Migration is seeking nearly $14.9 million to support 30,000 people over the next 6 months, while NASA estimates nearly 58,900 buildings were damaged or destroyed. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization, WHO, has also warned of mounting pressure on the country's healthcare system and an increased risk of disease outbreaks.
Following the reopening of the Rafah crossing, the Madani government is prioritizing the delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza via land routes to ensure more effective distribution. Deputy Foreign Minister Datuk Lukanisman Awang Sauni says the approach allows aid to reach the people of Gaza more efficiently, adding that any future participation by Malaysians in the Global Sumut Flotilla GSF mission is a matter of individual choice.
Keputusan untuk menyertai Global Sumut Flotilla ini adalah merupakan keputusan berlandaskan prinsip individu tersebut yang ingin memperjuangkan isu-isu yang berkaitan dengan Palestin dan juga Gaza. Maka penyertaan mereka kepada program Global Sumut Flotilla ini adalah keputusan pribadi dan juga kita menyalurkan bantuan sekiranya permasalahan akan timbul. Ini adalah merupakan kaedah yang konsisten kita tekankan dan juga sekiranya berlaku pelayaran semula oleh Global Sumut Flotilla, sememangnya kita memberikan pandangan-pandangan yang lebih baik.
Lukanisman adds that while Malaysia prioritizes land routes, it continues to recognize the importance of such missions as a means of drawing international media attention and pressing for accountability from the Israeli Zionist regime. He says Malaysia has successfully delivered various forms of aid, including food, medicines, and solar lamps to the people of Gaza through its sustained humanitarian approach.
Polytechnic Kuching Sarawak has issued a public apology and is ordering immediate remediation for its campus hostels, following widespread social media backlash over substandard student accommodation. The institution maintains that emergency upgrades are being carried out, but admits that severe capacity limitations are straining existing student welfare infrastructure.
The apology was triggered by complaints from recent intake inductees, prompting the institution to release operational data defending its placement efforts. While placement rates for new intakes remain high, the management admits that the aging campus infrastructure is currently unable to house its existing senior student population. To resolve the immediate crisis, repair crews have been deployed to optimize housing space and replace substandard furniture in stages. The management confirms that heightened internal monitoring mechanisms are now in place to ensure accommodation comfort in the long term.
Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, all on your screen, anytime, anywhere. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.